Well, guys, we are back again, and today we want to do a substructure taking off quantities, but this time we are doing a substructure which has trees. There are trees on the site. So we want to look at how we are going to take off the quantities of those trees, and I thought it's good that we do the entire substructure works instead of doing the part of the trees. So welcome back again to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, you know how we do it. Kindly subscribe, share, and leave a comment as we continue to help each other. Now, this is the structure that we want to look at. This is our plan here. And if you can see, we have trees on site. We have trees on site with different girths. Yeah, with different girths. So we have these trees is what we are going to concentrate on how to take off the quantities of the trees. So guys, let's start with our taking off. This is our plan here, and we have our section. As you can see, this is our wall structure, and then on the section here we have the foundation, then we have the foundation concrete, we have the foundation wall, and then we have the hardcore. We have hardcore 200 millimeters thick hardcore. Then we have 500 gauge Polten DPM. We have the BRC. And then we have 120 millimeters in situ concrete bed. And then we have our walls are 300 millimeters thick. Then we have the bituminous felt DPC. And then we have 12 millimeters plaster and 2 coats bituminous paint. So guys, we want to take off the quantities of this plan. We are going to start with items to measure. On our notes here, we are told the site is bushy, so we are going to site clear. And then we have vegetable soil, which needs to be removed to be preserved. So we are going to excavate vegetable soil. And then we are going to cut down the trees. Then we are going to excavate reduced level, foundation trenches. And then we take off concrete in steel foundation, foundation walling, hardcore slab, formwork to slab, and DBC. So guys, let's start with site clearance. For us to be able to site clear the site, sorry, we need to take the measurement. So we are going to measure this length, and then we measure this width. Now, if you look at this plan, we want to make it an entire plan, because if you take this part here, you unfold it, it's going to come up to this place, meaning we are going to take the entire length, and for the the entire length, and for the width, if you take this part and fold it to this part, it means this length here is going to come here, and then this width is going to come here, and this length is going to come here. So we are going to have an entire section like that, and an entire section like that. Now let's get the measurement. We have 300 plus 5,500 plus 150 plus 4,400 plus 300 plus 200 plus 300. And then on the width, we have 300 plus 12,000 plus 300 plus 3,000 plus 300. Yeah, plus 300. So that gives us 12,950. And then we have 15,900. And then we add projection. For our projection, our width of the foundation is 900, the wall is 300. So 900 minus 300, that is of the wall, we are left with 300 on this side and 300 on the other side. So we are projecting, when we are doing the excavation, we will project this side by 300 and the other side by 300. So that gives us 600. So if we add that one, we have 13,550 and 16,500. Now let's calculate the reduced level so that we can book. Remember, site clearance and vegetable soil and reduced level, they are booked using the same measurement. So we need to calculate the level of reduced so that we can get it, so that we can be able to book the 3 items together. So for our reduced level, we have hardcore plus slab. Our hardcore is 200 millimeters thick, this one here, and then our slab is 120. So if you add the two, they give us 320. So it means from this top of the hardcore up to this bottom is 320. But from this point up to this point is 170. So we are going to subtract the 170. So we are remaining with 150. So from the top of ground level to the bottom of the article here is 150. But we have a vegetable soil to excavate of 150. So from the top of here, we are going to excavate 150. So when we excavate 150, we'll definitely get 0, meaning from the top here, if we excavate 150, we'll get to the bottom of the article bed. So our reduced level is 0, meaning we don't have a reduced level. So we book that one. So we have 13.55, 16.50, and then we clear the site of bushes, shrubs, small trees, uproot undergrowth, and burn the arising. Upper sand, excavate vegetable soil starting from ground level, average depth 150 millimeters. Now we go to the trees. We have the trees on site. We are going to list down the trees as we have been given here on the notes. Those are the notes that we have for the trees. We have 2 numbers, so we are going to list them. The list girth is 590, followed by 630. Then we have 1470, 1020, 1470, 1500, and then the last one is 2150 millimeters. Now, when we are booking for trees, remember, trees that are less than 600 millimeters, we don't take off their quantities. We assume they are shrubs and small trees, the ones that we have taken off when excavating. So our trees, they start at a girth of 600 millimeters. So it's between a gap of a girth of 600 millimeters to 900, 300 millimeters. Yeah, space. So it's 600 to 900, 900 to 1200, up to the last girth that you have. So in this case, we are going to start with 630. So for 630, it's 1, because the next range is 900. So, and then 900 to 1200, we are going to have 1. But remember, how many do we have for the 10 to 100? We have 2 number. So let's book the first one for 630. So it's 1, and then we say cut down for that trees exceeding 300 millimeters, but not exceeding 900 millimeters. Average height 1 meter, uproot and remove from site. Remember, this one is 1. 6 that here we have 1 number. And then we go to the second one, that is 1020 millimeters. We have 2. So we say date of birth girth exceeding 900 millimeters but not exceeding 1200 millimeters. So it's 1, and then we multiply by the number, which is 2. And then we proceed to the next one. So the next one will be between 1200 to 1500, which is 2. We have this one and this one. And then the last one is going to be between yeah, so we have between 1200 to 1500, there are 2, and then the last one is going to be between, yeah, the girth is 21, so it's between 2100 to 2400. So we are going to correct that. So we go to trench excavation. We need to excavate our trench. So our trench is going to be this length, like that, and then the width, this width. Yeah, so as we had said, the first thing we did is to unfold this one. We bring this one here so that we can have this width comes here, and then this length comes here for us to have a rectangle, and then this width comes here, and then this length comes here. So we make a full rectangle. So we need to get the mini girth. Mini girth, remember, is perimeter along the center line. So we are going to take the length and then the width, and then we add them. We multiply by 2. That gives us 57,700, and then we less 40 because we are at the outside. We are using the external. We need to get to the center line. So we minus 4 the thickness. The thickness of the wall is 300. So 4 times 300 is 1200. We subtract that one, we get 56,500. That is 56.50 meters. The width of excavation is 900 for the main wall, and for the trench is 450. Sorry, for the partition is 450. Now, the length of the partition wall is from this point up to that point. That is 12,000. So that is what we are going to excavate. So when we are excavating, sorry, we also need the height of the wall. So the height of the wall for excavation, remember we had excavated from ground level here, remember we had excavated 150. So assuming we are somewhere here, then we need to get the height of excavation. So we are going to take 900 plus 300, that gives us 1200, and then we less the vegetable soil which we had excavated 150, that gives us 1050 millimeters. For the partition wall, it's the same, but the difference is the thickness of the plain concrete. Here it's 300, here is 250. So we are going to take 900 plus 250, that gives us 1150, and then we less the vegetable soil, that gives us 1000 millimeter height. Now let's book for that one. For the main wall, we have the main girth 56.50, the width 0.90, and then the height is 1.05. Excavate trenches to receive strip foundation starting from stripped level, depth 1.05 meters. Right. Now we book for the partitioning wall. The length we said is 12,000, that is 12.00. The width is 0.45, the height is 1.00. Detail band, average depth 1.0 meters, and then we upper sand backfill. Now let's proceed to the next thing. Item, we are going to allow for necessary planking and strutting so that we can be able to support the trenches, and then upper sand dewatering. Let's go to plain concrete foundation. So we need to put concrete now on the trench that we have excavated. So we are going to take the mini girth, the width, and the depth, the thickness of the foundation. The thickness is here is 300, and on the partitioning wall is 250. So we book that one, 56.50, 0.90, 0.30, and then for the partition is 12.00. The width is 0.45, the thickness is 0.25, and then you say plain concrete in 1:3:6 in strip foundation. And then we add backfill, and then whatever remains after we've backfilled, we remove it from site. Good. Now we proceed to the foundation walling. We need now to construct these walls here. So the walls are also going to be constructed along the trench that we had excavated. So we are going to use the mini girth, and then we need to find the height of the walls, that wall. So we have the height of the wall is from the bottom of the concrete slab here up to the top of the foundation concrete. Now from this point up to this point is 900. And then from this point here up to this point is 1700. Sorry, 170. But our thickness of the slab is 120. So 170 minus 120, what remains is 50 here. What we remain with is 50 there. 50 now remains. And so our wall is going to be 900 plus 50, that gives us 900 and 950. For the partitioning, the length is 12, that one is 12,000, and then the height is still the same, 950 millimeters. So we are going to book that one. We only need the mini girth and the height. So it's 56.50 and 0.95, and then we say 300 millimeters thick stone CBC wall laid and embedded in 1:3 CS mortar. And then for the partition wall, we have the length, that is 12,000, that is 12.00. Then the height is 0.95, and then we say detour but to 150 millimeters thick CSB wall. Now let's proceed to hardcore. Remember our hardcore here, this is our hardcore going along up to this wall, this zigzag. Yeah, is our hardcore 200 millimeters thick hardcore. So our hardcore is from the internal walls, is in the inside. It does not get to touch the walls. We just place hardcore on the inside. Yeah, like that, and then on this side like that, we have put the dots. That's where we are placing our hardcore. So we need to divide this plan of ours into sections. So we are going to name this section A. Yes, and then we are going to name this, let me see, up to this point here, we are going to name this section B. Good. And then we are going to name this section C. Let's say section C. Yeah, this one here. We're going to name that section C. And then what remains, we name it section D. All right. Now, section A, internal dimension is 550 by 12,000. That is it. Section B, we have 4,400 by 28. 28 is from this point up to this point. So that is 28. Sorry, it's not 28 because we need from this point up to this point. So it's 28 plus 300. So that is that one. So that is that one. Yeah, that one. And then section C is from this point up to this point. So that is 44 plus 200 plus 300, that is 67. And then our width is, so from here up to here is 12,000, but we need from here up to here. So what do we subtract? We subtract this one, we subtract 2800. Sorry, we subtract that 100, that gives us that 100 minus 12,000 minus that 100, that gives us 8,900. And then our section D, we have that 500 by from this point up to this point. So that is plus, this is 3,000, so that is 3,000 plus 300, so that is 3,300. Yes, so those are our section. And then the thickness of the hardcore is 200 millimeters thick hardcore. So we need the volume, so that is length, width times the thickness. So we book those section. Section 1 we have 5.50 by 12.00 by 0.2. Section B we have 4.40 by 3.31, and then we have 0.20. Then we have section C, 6.70 by 8.90 by 0.20. Then the last one is 3.50 by 3.30 by 0.20. Then we say and packed quarry stone hardcore filling, laid and compacted into layers, average thickness 100 millimeters thick. So our plan plus section does not have maram, because mostly we have maram on top of hardcore, so we are going to ignore that. Alternatively, you can create a query sheet and ask yourself, is there maram on the site? And then you say yes. If you say yes, you give the thickness, so you can say 50 millimeters thick, 75 millimeters thick, and then from there you can proceed and book for the maram. But in this case, we've ignored the maram. So let's proceed to the slab. So for our slab, we are going to take the entire length. We are going to take the entire length, that one, and then that one. But remember, now we must come back and deduct the void. So this is a void and this is a void. So our entire length is 12,950 by 15,900, and then the void we have here, the void is 8,550 plus 300, that gives us 8,850. And then here is 3,000 plus 300, that is 3,300, that is 3.30. And then the second void here is 2300 by 31, that is 2.30 by 3.31. So we are going to book the whole slab, and then we are going to deduct the voids. So we proceed with that. So we have 12.95 and 15.90. VRC 1:2:4 in 20 millimeters aggregate in 120 millimeters thick slab. So our slab, it has a BRC mesh. So we are going to include that. Ampersand BRC wire mesh reference number A510. And then we also have a 500 gauge Polton DPM, a 500 thick Polton DPM. So we also ampersand that one. And then we are going to allow for anti-termite treatment to manufacturer's instructions. After that, after we've booked this entire slab, we come here and deduct the void. So we had a void of 8.85 and 3.30, and then also we had another one of 2.30 and 3.10. Then we say ditto the last four items. So these four items, we are going to deduct this amount. So we go to the formwork, to the slab edges. So it's the same thing. If we extend this timber here, we are going to have this one is going to come here, that timber, and this timber is going to come here. So it's going to give us the entire width and the entire length, and same case, this timber here is going to come here, and then this one is also going to come there. So we are going to have an entire measurement for our formwork. So we are going to take the entire length 12.95 by 2, because they are to this side and this side, and then 15.90 by 2, and then we say stone timber formwork to the edges of the slab. Now let's go to the DPC. We have bitumen felt DPC on top of the ear on the slab here. So the DPC, we take the mini girth, that is 56.5, and then we say 300 millimeters wide, 500 gauge Polton DPC. And then for the partition wall, we take the length of the wall, which was 12,000, that is 12.20, and then we say ditto but 150 millimeters thick wide. So guys, that is how we do our booking for that superstructure works. Thank you guys. Until next time, bye bye.